Would like to call to order the November 16th, 2015 meeting of the Cabarrus County Board of Commissioners. Welcome. It's good to have all of you with us tonight. I would remind everyone to please silence your mobile devices before we get started. Also, we'll mention that this meeting will be televised and will be on Channel 22 Sunday through Saturday at 1 p.m., Sunday through Tuesday at 6:30 p.m., and Thursday and Friday at 6:30 p.m. and is also available on the Cabarrus County website on their YouTube channel. So we try to make these as public as possible. We are very proud to have with us tonight the Brownie Troop 1581 from New Life Baptist Church for the presentation of colors. Please stand.
Color Guard advance. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Color Guard, post your colors. Color Guard dismissed. Color Guard dismissed.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you being with us tonight, and after our invocation, we'll ask for the Brownie Scouts to come up and introduce themselves. We're happy to have with us tonight Chaplain Bernie Luce from the Cabarrus County Sheriff's Department for our invocation, which after that, we'd like to follow that with a moment of silence recognizing the tragic events in Paris this week.
Good evening. Let's go to the Lord in prayer. Gracious and Heavenly Father, Lord God, we just thank you for this day. We thank you for the creation that you've given us to enjoy. Father, we thank you that you are a good and a gracious God, that your common grace just flows every day and gives us the life and the breath and the things that enjoy here in this planet and this earth that you've created. Father, as we just boldly come before your throne tonight, Father, I know that you're the sovereign and the providential God that raises up leaders and takes them down, and your word commands us, as you've established human government, to come and pray for our leaders that we might live peaceful and godly lives. And Father, as the business adjourns tonight, I pray that at the end of this meeting, all things are done from this pavilion and from this place has honored and glorified you and is good for your people. Father, I especially thank you for the young ladies that were here tonight. I know the pastor, he's a godly man, and he loves you, and he preaches the gospel of Jesus Christ. Father, again, I thank you for this opportunity to stand here before this group of leaders that you've appointed. And Father, I ask now that you give them wisdom and discernment to go through this evening, to be no respecter of person, to do all things in your will. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
And if we would just take a moment of silence for the victims in France. Thank you. And at this time, we would like for the Brownies from Troop 1581 to come up to the microphone and introduce yourselves and tell us perhaps your parents' names and what you enjoy about Brownie Scouts. And then we'll have, to your left, to my right, Commissioner Honeycutt will have a county pin for you. Hello.
Hi, my name is Samira, and my mom's name is Crystal, and I like making crafts.
Great.
Hey, my name is Kendall, and my mom's name is Lee Ashley, and I like making crafts.
Thank you.
My name is Ariana, and my mother's name is Dion, and I like making crafts.
Thank you.
My name is Simone, and my mom's name is Miss Tanya, and my dad's is Rodney, and I like going camping.
Great.
My name is Ashley. My mom's name is Lee Ashley, and I like drawing pictures.
Okay.
My name is Ella. My mom's name is Miss Mary, and I like doing crafts.
Great. Thank you. We appreciate all of you being with us tonight. First item on our agenda is the approval or correction of the minutes, and you all have copies of those before you. So I would entertain a motion that we approve the minutes as presented. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If none, all in favor, please say aye. All opposed, no, and that motion passes. Next item is approval of the agenda, including the changes, and there have been one addition to the minutes, or to the agenda, excuse me.
Move for approval.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second the motion, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. Next item are recognitions and presentations. And we are very happy to have with us tonight Justin Bryans, who's going to tell us a little about the event that he helped to head up this past month.
Mr. Chairman, thank you, members of the board, for just a few moments to share with y'all what we did back in October. On October 16th and 17th, Cabarrus County hosted the 19th annual Carolina competition. This event began in 1996 in Marlborough County, South Carolina. Each year, the host county is alternated between North and South Carolina, and registrants are allowed from both states. Cabarrus County EMS has participated in the event in 2011, 2012, and 2014, with first place overall awards in 2011 and 2014. The competition consists of a Friday night scenario and a Saturday day scenario and an optional written examination. Our history with competing in this professional and challenging event compelled us to accept when we were asked if we would like to host the event. Planning began in early 2015. A work group of employees from EMS was formed and monthly planning sessions were held. Planning involved many areas, including choosing a location for the scenarios, procuring meals and lodging, and developing challenging but realistic scenarios. Eventually, all of our hard work paid off when we were able to watch each team compete and work through the scenarios that we created. The Friday night scenario began as the team was dispatched to Charlotte Motor Speedway for multiple patients complaining of nausea and vomiting. From the beginning, they thought they were responding to a large-scale hazmat incident. However, on the way to the call, they encountered a traffic accident involving another ambulance, and they were forced to divert and manage this call. They were presented with 6 patients, injuries ranging from severe trauma to a rather critical, challenging cardiac patient in the back of the ambulance that crashed. They only had 10 minutes to complete and work through this scenario. The Saturday scenario began with a dispatch to a pediatric bee sting. On arrival, what they found, however, was much different. They immediately realized the scene involved an illegal moonshine still, and initially they were presented with a pediatric patient who was very ill due to ingesting some of his grandfather's blood pressure medicine. While focusing on saving the child's life, rival moonshiners came out of the woods and created a very intense situation that eventually led to the moonshine still exploding. They were then faced with an additional 10 patients with traumatic injuries and burns, and again, they only had 10 minutes to do all this. All involved were very impressed with each of the 11 teams that competed. We originally had 12 registrants, however, one team had to back out due to a medical emergency in the family. So professionalism and skill were displayed by all. The overall winner of this year's competition was the Lancaster County, South Carolina EMS team of Scott Dunham and David Demby. We had much collaboration while preparing for this event and putting it on. First of all, to the Cabarrus County Convention and Visitors Bureau. Danielle Kajowski helped with some of our fundraising efforts. Concord Fire Department provided first responders for the teams. They helped with a sequestering location for the teams. Cabarrus County Sheriff's Office, EOD, actually provided a very realistic explosion for the Saturday day scenario. Concord Police served as role players. Carolina's healthcare system provided financial support as well as physician oversight. Charlotte Motor Speedway gave us a place to have the event and helped with event logistics. We had Ms. Patty Freeman help with moulage, and CPCC helped with role players for the event. We had many corporate sponsors, including Great Wolf Lodge, Air Methods, and numerous other local businesses. It was a pleasure working with the event founder and chair, Dr. Kevin Jasinki, and his team. And on behalf of Lieutenant Jonathan Malden and Lieutenant Will Cannon, who could not be here tonight, I would like to thank Cabarrus County for allowing us to host this event. Support from our department was paramount in making this a success, from our director, Alan Thompson, and the rest of our administrative staff, all the way down to our field personnel who helped plan, execute, and support this event. Our medical director, Dr. Craig Corey, served as lead judge and provided input in developing the score sheets for each patient. I'd like to thank all the sponsors, the judges, the volunteers, and role players who made this possible. This event was a perfect example of how county departments, agencies, and businesses can work together, collaborate, and complete a task that represents Cabarrus County in a positive and professional manner. I'd like to end with a quote from Dr. Jasinki, who sent an email to us at the end of the event, and he said, "The 19th annual Carolina competition was a huge success due to the extensive planning and hard work from the group at Cabarrus County EMS. Teams enjoyed a great weekend of training and fellowship. The 2 scenarios designed and executed by Cabarrus County EMS were extremely realistic and challenging. I can say without a doubt this was the best event to date. I look forward to working with the service again on another Carolina competition event, possibly the final one, on my 25th anniversary when I retire in 2021. So whoever's still around then can help us with that. Thanks to everyone who assisted in any other way with our event. They all did an outstanding job. So if you have any questions or anything about the event, I think we were well publicized with it. But again, thank you for your support and allowing us to carry out the event. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Justin. Well, you're thanking us for allowing you to do it, and we should be thanking you for so well representing Cabarrus County and bringing such a positive spotlight. I mean, we're proud of what you do all the time, and it's nice to know that other people across the state recognize that as well. So thank you for what you guys have done, and it's obvious that there's a lot of work involved in putting that together, and it's nice to be so well represented. Thank you. Okay. Our second recognition tonight is we are very happy. Well, we have very mixed emotions. We're happy to recognize Frank Lapsley, but we're very sorry to talk about the fact that he's leaving us. So, Frank, could you come up? I think County Manager Downs has and bring your family up with you as well.
Yeah, everybody. Come on. Yeah, as you know, Frank Lapsley is the general manager of the Cabarrus Arena and Event Center. And about 11 years ago, the county was running the facility themselves as a county department, and we figured out very quickly that that's not what government, or at least Cabarrus County government, was not equipped to run an arena. So we went out and we started searching firms, and we came up with a national, or actually an international firm that runs facilities all over the world that range in the size of Cabarrus Arena or smaller, all the way up to the Superdome. And we were able to interview several candidates. And well, first of all, we picked SMG that runs the facilities, and then they brought in several candidates, and Frank was the one that was selected. And we gave him several charges, and he's achieved all of those, and then some for our facility. And just to give you an idea, the location of our facility is a challenge. It's a very big challenge for promoters and for general managers of facilities, just simply because of the location. So, but over the years, 10.5 years now, right, Frank? That you and your family, Frank has been a stronghold at the arena and has done great things for us there, but also his family has done great things in the community as well. So we appreciate that. But they increased the numbers of events at the arena. Each year it's been an increase. They've improved the quality of the events over those 10 years. And then also we've been able to provide a wider variety of events at the facility as well. And that's because of the efforts of Frank and his staff out there. And as Commissioner Morris says, we're excited that well, we're sorry that you're leaving, but we're excited that you've earned this next stop, and we'll let you talk about that next stop. But again, on behalf of the board and on behalf of the staff, thank you, and the community, thank you for what you've done out at the arena. So,
Thank you. Two pieces of business real quick. Kenny Robinson, I think you all know Kenny. If you don't, you'll have the opportunity at the next work session. I think he'll be here so you can ask him some questions about what his plan is. But I wanted to introduce Kenny Robinson. He is going to be the interim general manager. Kenny's background at the arena has let him have his hands in every single department. I have full confidence. Larry Wilson and the rest of SMG staff has confidence in his ability to now take on that role as the senior leader. I think Mike, Jonathan, Pam also have that confidence in him as well. I think the one thing that I would tell you about Kenny is he comes with a natural curiosity about the job. So what he doesn't know, what he doesn't have an answer for, he'll be able to get in short order. So I'm not leaving him. I'm staying within the company, so I remain a resource for him as we move forward. I hope that he will work out very well for you, and at some point we'll take that interim title off and he'll be able to run the ship. Kenny and I think along the same lines when it comes to how we treat our guests, our partners, and our staff. So I think all you'll see is that he will build upon a lot of the successes that we've had at the arena. So Kenny will be our interim GM, and I'm very thankful for his opportunity. We wanted to say thank you. This is the only place my children have known. And with your leadership and against the backdrop of how you have been stewards for this community, not only as a board but as staff, they have grown to know and understand what their role is in a community. You've allowed me to pursue opportunities outside of the boundaries of the arena that I've also been able to show them what it means to be an active citizen in our community, and I'm hoping that they will take those wherever they go. Those opportunities happen rarely. We have come from different communities where we may not have had those opportunities because of the leadership and the dynamics of the roles that exist. So we are very lucky and we're fortunate, and we understand that we were able to give our children something that they may not have gotten had we been someplace else. So thank you very much. We are moving forward. I've accepted the position as the general manager for the North Charleston Coliseum, North Charleston Performing Arts Center, the Greater Charleston Convention Center. We look forward to this opportunity. It's the next logical step for me professionally, and if you've ever been to Charleston, you know that it is probably a pretty good place for my children to spend the next portion of their lives, and certainly my wife is not upset that we're moving to Charleston. So, but one of the things that has been difficult in the past few weeks, and I've told Mike this, is that you don't realize how deep your roots go until you try to pull them up. It has been very, very difficult for us to start doing that process. We, in very real terms, will leave a piece of us here when we are gone, and those roots will also take a piece of you with us to wherever we're going. We've enjoyed our time here tremendously, and we thank you for everything that you've been able to do for us. The last thing I want to say is, in the rock and roll business, we never say goodbye. We always say that when the buses are loading up with tour crew and the trucks are all loaded up, we simply say we'll see you down the road. So my hope is that we will see you down the road and that you will come visit us in Charleston and we'll have a chance to renew our friendships. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. We very much appreciate what you and your entire family has meant to this community, and certainly the excellent job that you've done with the Arena and Event Center. As Mike mentioned, there have been some challenges with the location and otherwise, and you've done a fantastic job with that, and you will definitely be missed there, as well as a lot of other places in the community, and don't be surprised if we don't come knocking on your door in Charleston also. So best wishes to you and your entire family. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Chairman, before you sit down, Frank, well, you can go ahead and sit down. But when you said see you down the road, you very well may see me down the road. I go down that way quite often. And I was looking at the members of the commission here, and I believe I'm correct that all of them are natives of Concord, Cabarrus County. Is that correct? So I'm the only outlaw in this group who can say to your children, who I know what they're going through. I moved quite a bit as a youngster, and every time I did, it was very difficult, but every time I did, I learned, and I look back on it and know that that's probably one of the best experiences I ever had in my life, to go somewhere, make new friends, learn about different people and different places to live. So it's not all bad, even though it might seem that way right now. So I just wanted to say that to them.
Thank you all. Okay, next item on our agenda are informal public comments. We do not have any yellow cards that have been turned in tonight, but if there's anybody here that would like to speak, you're welcome to do so. Seeing nobody jumping up out of their seats, we'll move on to old business. We have infrastructure and asset management offers to purchase tax foreclosure property. I think that's on page 26 of your agendas. Is anybody going to talk about that? Jonathan.
No presentation. This is one that was up for an upset bid. That process is closed without any upset bid, so it's just before you for action.
Okay. And we have talked about this 2 or 3 times before. Commissioners, do I hear a motion in regards to the offer to purchase or to sell this tax foreclosure property?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make the motion to award the 607 J Avenue property to Dane Howard, DBH Construction and Renovation, LLC, and to authorize the county manager and the county attorney to finalize the transaction and execute related documentation.
Thank you. Do I hear a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. And we move on to our consent agenda, and of course, you all have that in front of you. Do I hear a motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented?
I move for approval of the consent agenda.
Okay, do I hear a second to that motion? Okay, have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. Next item is new business. And first item is from our Economic Development Corporation, an economic development grant request. And we will have a public hearing on that, and Patrick Coughlin will speak to us prior to the hearing.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for having me in this evening. The Brownie Scouts had the mic level at the right height for me, so I want to thank them for that. We have a project current to bring to you this evening for your consideration of and discussion around a performance grant. And I'd like to outline just a couple of the particulars of the project. And we do have some pictures that go along with this, some slides that go along with this. The company for Project Current is Beacon Partners, which is a real estate development company headquartered down in Charlotte that has done quite a bit of work here in Cabarrus County. They have a proposed new Cabarrus facility. This is a speculative development at River Oaks Corporate Center, which is at the intersection of Poplar, Tent, and DeRida Roads. There are 2 phases to this development. Phase number 1 is the construction of 2 buildings, the pre-grading of 1 site, and the installation of significant infrastructure in the park, including connector roads, stormwater management ponds that you can see on the slide here, and private utilities. The Phase 1 real property investment is a minimum of $25 million, and this will be completed by September 30th of 2016. So what I do want to share with you a little bit here are some of the renderings of the buildings. And again, this is directly across the street from the airport. And you can see they've done a very nice job at some of these elevations, bringing in kind of that feel of the airport with the back tail of the airplane and kind of the motion along the side of the buildings. They've really done a good job at trying to be consistent with the theme of that area. Phase number 2 is the construction of at least two of the 3 remaining buildings that are planned for the park. And the real property investment for this phase is $28 million. Phase 2 will be completed by December 31, 2018. So the total investment that Beacon is looking at here is $53 million between now and December 31 of 2018. Beacon is requesting that the Cabarrus County Board of Commissioners approve and provide upfront funding for public infrastructure within the park. This slide here shows the approximate 1,070 linear feet of public roadway from Derrida Road that comes into the roundabout. Also, you see the big red dot at the bottom there. That is a stoplight. Excuse me, let me go back. The public roadway has a projected cost of $419,298. The four-way stoplight at that entrance has an approximate cost of $200,000. In addition to these roadways and the stoplight, Beacon is looking for public utility expansions and tie-ins. This is the public water line that comes in off of Derrida Road and goes to the roundabout. And then we have the public sanitary sewer that comes from the back of the property all the way down to Derrida Road. And these public utilities expansions have a projected cost of $310,942. Beacon's development plan will repay the county for this upfront $930,240, which they are requesting for the roadway, the public utilities, and the four-way stop. So their development plan will repay the county by the end of 2020 through increased property taxes paid. Now, in the event that the minimum capital investment of $53 million of new real property investments are not made in accordance with their timeline and dates, Beacon agrees to reimburse the county by the end of 2020 for any of the outstanding balance. So in effect, they are asking for $930,240 for infrastructure with a guaranteed repayment date by December 31, 2020. Cabarrus County has participated in a similar grant with the building of Fortune Avenue in the International Business Park. The Beacon project, however, has a little bit more stringent repayment terms and a tighter timeline on that. The Cabarrus Economic Development Board has been tracking this project for several months, and we recommend that the county approve this grant for the following reasons. First of all, providing infrastructure is consistent with our economic development goals to increase investment in Cabarrus County, to expand infrastructure, and create good jobs. Secondly, the creation of a speculative industrial space provides additional product for us to market and to attract more companies here. Third, the creation of a pre-graded site, which is a part of their development plan, provides a new type of product in Cabarrus County. We've got a lot of greenfield sites. We have a number of buildings, but we don't have any pre-graded sites that would provide some flexibility and speed to market for a build-to-suit type situation. So it, in effect, gives us some new product. Fourth, Beacon Partners is providing a high level of commitment on the development schedule, number 1, and the repayment schedule, number 2, which is very important. And finally, this tax value of $53 million does not take into account any tenants that we may locate and will locate in those buildings, nor their personal property, their equipment, their machinery. This is just on the buildings themselves. With that, I'd like to introduce to you Mr. John Morris, who is a principal with Beacon Partners. John and I would be happy to answer any questions that you might have regarding this request or the schedule or the repayment terms.
Thank you, Patrick. Commissioners, do you have questions for Patrick or John? Or maybe John has some things he'd like to say to us first?
Nothing in particular to say other than to thank you guys for considering this request. It's a project that's very important to Beacon Partners. As you can see from the development plan we presented, we've invested a lot of time and energy and money into the plans. This is going to be the premier park that we've developed in our portfolio. We own about 6.5 million square feet of industrial space in the Carolinas, and we are confident, based upon other projects in Gaston County, in York County, the Fortune Drive project, where the public-private partnership that the county has participated in conjunction with the developer, it has expedited the absorption of the land and the creation of tax base and labor base for those communities in Gaston County and York County, and they're on Fortune Drive in Cabarrus County. So we appreciate your consideration of that for this park there on DeRuyter Road. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Questions, Commissioners?
Can you tell us a little bit about the feedback and interest you've had in the property for possible tenants?
Yes, we've looked at this project for Pepsi Bottling Ventures, which fortunately did locate in Cabarrus County, as well as Gordon Foods, which also located in Cabarrus County, as well as Ashley Furniture that went across the border to South Carolina. So the site has generated significant interest. Unfortunately, our speed to market wasn't able to parallel those sites and the cost of our project. The wetlands, the topography on that site it's an expensive site. So we've been discounted on those 3 projects. Currently, we are getting great consideration from several economic development projects. One is Project Square Dance, which is a manufacturing project. There is another Project Hunley that is a medical products group. And then there's the window manufacturing group, Patrick, that Tim emailed you about today. Project View, that's a 50,000 square foot manufacturer. All of those clients need space immediately. The Project Square Dance needs space in September, so you got to have a building up and going. Project Hunley wants a developed site by February to April, somewhere in that timeline, depends on how you define developed. And Project View is only considering existing buildings. I think they're looking at our building because we've committed to start construction on sites, our building C. So the activity is solid. We just haven't been able to land any of them without the infrastructure. Did that address your question, Commissioner?
Thank you.
Okay, other questions?
It's not a question again, it's just a comment, because there are people who watch this program and they may say, my goodness, where'd this come from out of the blue? It didn't come from out of the blue. We had an extensive meeting at the last commissioners meeting talking about this, and I think everybody had all the questions we should have asked to do our due diligence. And the projects that you're talking about, the public needs to understand we're not handing you money. We're putting in what you need from the governmental side in order to be able to create this business park. And if we don't do this, we won't get these companies. And so or anything else probably on that property in the future. So it's not a giveaway, and I want people to understand that we have really thought about it. We've had phone conversations among ourselves since then, and so I just think the public needs to understand that.
Yeah, it's important to realize that this is a $5.5 million infrastructure investment for us. We're asking for the public portion of that, only things that will be utilized directly by the public, and it will be paid back over time through incremental tax revenues that are generated by the project. And this investment in infrastructure today will greatly expedite that payback period, not only for the taxes, but getting jobs into Cabarrus County and generating good, high-paying wages as well. So I appreciate you bringing that up. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, just a couple of comments. Also, the total package on that's $53 million, I believe you said, between the two phases. But that doesn't include what these entities that's going to be getting in these buildings will bring into the county. So whenever they're all filled and they're up and running and the jobs are there, then it could push it $75 or even $80 million worth of taxable asset base, and which would, like I think you said, John, would expedite the repayment of the incentive that you're asking for. And I want to say just one more thing, while I'm here, and that is that, we're living in not just a locally or a statewide competitive type arena, you might call it. It's a global arena these days, and cities and counties and states are competing. And as far as, in matter of that, countries are competing. We've had offers from out of the country wanting to come to North Carolina, and it's competitive. This country versus that country, this state versus that state, this county versus that county. And in order to be competitive, to get the jobs, which is what we need in Cabarrus County, we have to be a little bit more lenient and to be competitive. And I think that we're going to find, as time goes on, that it's going to be a little bit more creativity when businesses want to come to Cabarrus County. It's going to probably get a little bit more competitive. There's going to probably be some creative incentives being asked for. And we have to be able to roll with the punches, you might say. I mean, I'm sure if you'd ever ask every commissioner up here, I don't think any of us want to give money out to bring a business here. But if we have to do that to get them to come here, if it's the last-ditch effort, we've offered everything. We workforce development, and we're going to help you make sure you got the people to do the jobs and all that. But if it's a last-ditch effort to get them to come here, it's just like buying a car. You got somebody out there wanting to buy a car, and if they say, well, what's it going to take to get you in this new car? Well, they get an incentive somehow. And it's the same way here. It's just a much bigger deal. And to me, I see this as a win-win situation because Beacon is a well-known, well-respected company with millions and millions. I don't know how many millions it is, but I know it's a lot. It's big. And I appreciate you choosing Cabarrus County, and I hope that we'll be able to help you get this project started.
Commissioner Hsu, thank you for those comments and for underscoring the fact that this is an investment of just the buildings alone. In addition to the projects that John mentioned, the Economic Development Corporation is working 42 additional projects. The average investment is somewhere around $26 million on each one of those. So if we can land some of those projects because we have more available space or a pre-graded site that can be developed to suit by a company, we're in a much more competitive situation.
Absolutely, Patrick. And it just brought to my mind, Mr. Chairman, if I may, just another minute here, and to help the public better understand why the big deal about economic development. Well, the nuts and bolts of the economic development is, well, jobs is number one. But number two, though, the larger our taxable base is, will give us more revenues to keep from having to increase the tax rate. I mean, we've been able to enjoy a 70-cent tax rate for years now. And in order to maintain that, we need the additional revenue. And by these new businesses coming in, and the thing about it, we don't have to build schools for businesses. You know, it's not like residential growth. When you got residential growth, you got families come in with 2 or 3, 4 kids. Well, we got to build schools, we got to build libraries, we got to build fire stations and all those things. But when businesses come in, well, they got to have people, obviously. But you'd be surprised at the people that commute and come to these businesses because they're good jobs. But it increases the tax base, which helps us keep your tax rate low. And that's what one of our jobs is.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Commissioner Poole?
I have a number of questions, but do you want to go ahead and do the public hearing?
Whichever you
First,
may do
if
it
you will.
now, or we can wait till afterwards.
You'll do the public hearing first, and then I'll have them come back up. I don't know that you have any speakers, so it may be a very quick thing for us to do the public hearing, and then, but I've jotted down a number of notes.
Okay, we have advertised a public hearing on this matter for tonight, and so at this time, I will call the public hearing to order and welcome anyone that would like to speak in regards to this matter. Yes, sir.
I thought that property was going into the city.
Yeah, you need to get to the microphone.
I'm Larry Marlowe. I live on Odellsco Road, which I'll be about a mile from where they were projecting. I thought that property, 137 acres, had been annexed into the city. And if it has been, why is the county dealing with it?
Okay, and I think that has been annexed into the city of Concord, and so it will be part of the taxable base for the city as well as the county.
Oh, okay.
Both.
I just didn't want us to pay it all.
Right. And I will add, the city of Concord has made some investments in some infrastructure improvements to that property as well. Is there anybody else that would like to speak in regards to this project? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. And I'll recognize Commissioner Poole for her questions and comments.
So if y'all will come back up, if you don't mind. I have a few clarifications from Patrick, what you said, and then a couple other things. Phase 1 is Building C, is that correct?
And
pre-grading?
it's Building C
Mhm.
and Building D, as well as the pre-grading of Building B.
Okay, that's
And
what.
when we disturb all of that earth, we have to build the 3 little lakes you see on the property. Those are stormwater detention ponds. That's Pond 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, and that's, I just wanted to clarify, because what I heard was Building C and pre-grade, and I wanted to make sure where that building came in. And then Phase 2 then is Building B? Because you're pre-grading it to begin with, or which buildings are Phase 2?
It depends on what the market says. So Phase 2 could happen really quickly if we land Project Hunley and or Project Square Dance, and they are both looking at A. We have a prospect that's looking at E. Ashley Furniture was considering B. Currently, we have no prospects for B.
So when would B, that you were going to pre-grade in the first phase, when would B potentially come into the picture? I mean, I understand you'd have to have somebody interested in renting the property from you, but on your timeline, when do you think the 5th building would hit?
We have committed that we would build 2 more buildings by the end of 2018. Our desire is to move much more quickly than that. This is the toughest part about the speculative development business, is the time aspect. We have these same discussions with our lenders. And our hope would be that park could all be developed. I think an optimistic timeline would be by the end of 2017. A more accurate timeline would, if we're committing to have $53 million of infrastructure, of buildings in by the end of 2018, maybe 2019.
Okay.
The last building is completed by the end of 2019 would be our hope. Now, all the economists are saying 2018 and 19 is going to be a downturn. Lord knows if they're correct or not. I hope they are incorrect, but that would obviously affect our plans. And if we didn't build out, I think this is a very important part about the the proposal, if we did not build the buildings and repay the grant by the end of 2020, we would write a check for the difference. So if we paid $500,000 of incremental tax income, we would write a check for $430,000. We commit to do that. That is something you have my word up here that we will do.
So, and you are correct, I was going to get to that part too. So based on what we have in front of us, we have building 4 buildings and pre-grading a site. Okay, so that still leaves the building on that last site. So do you anticipate that you would come back to us for a different incentive on the 5th building? Does that make sense?
It makes complete sense. And based upon the principles we've used on this project where we're asking for public infrastructure, no private infrastructure, I do not anticipate us coming back to you as Beacon partners for an infrastructure grant on that site.
That would leave the door open that because I'm going to say it's Building B because so far we haven't really identified that one all the way.
Let's call it Building B, yeah.
But we'll go with that. I mean, I understand that things can change. Perfectly understand that. So let's say that Building B, you pre-grade the site and somebody else comes in and says that they want to not use you but use their own builders and they want to build their own building on that spot, which could very well happen. It could happen for any of these. You could have somebody come in and say, we don't really want you to build Building E. We want to build it. We have our own builders and we're going to do our own thing because we think we can do it cheaper than you can do it, kind of thing, okay? So there's a chance, I guess, Patrick, that Building B, someone, maybe not Beacon, but someone may come and ask us to do a normal, quote-unquote, incentive rebate that we typically do on that building. You agree that that's plausible?
That's possible, yes,
Okay.
ma'am. But again, we're looking here tonight at 4 buildings, $53 million minimum investment. So what happens in the future, I mean.
Oh, I understand.
It's kind of difficult to say right now, but it is a possibility.
Well, I guess what made me key in on it was in Phase 1, you're pre-grading for Building B, but yet there's not been a discussion about actually when Building B was going to be constructed, and therefore when it would hit the tax books and be a taxable structure. That's why I was trying to make sure which buildings, because, I mean, yes, we've had this and we've talked about it, but I wanted to make sure which buildings you were actually Phase 1, Phase 2, and Phase something.
And we are absolutely and definitely incented to build the buildings as quickly as is prudent. I mean, we're spending $300,000 to pre-grade Pad B. The reason we're doing that is it's a very efficient use of money. While we're out there and we're building these roads sort of hemming in Pad B, we want to get all the dirt to other places in the site so we don't recross those roads, potentially breaking them. We want to get the unit pricing on moving dirt today. So we're spending an additional $300,000 of our money, and we want to get a return on that asset as quickly as we can. So we are also incented to move this dirt as quick as we can with the market.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I just wanted to try, I was a bit confused on which ones we were looking at, because I guess you'd think A would go first, and not necessarily. So,
I am too,
E would
so.
go last, but not necessarily, because B is on road frontage, is on your main road frontage. So, that was.
And that was the site that actually, that was the building that was probably the first one up to bat, but to date, nobody. And we feel like that's the best site, so we're sort of saving it for last, but.
Okay, that's fine. It's your business model. I'm good with that. I was just trying to be clear on what you were thinking. So, and this, which Patrick already knows, and you probably do know too, I have heartburn with writing a check. We've been asking for an updated policy, which we've not gotten yet, and our normal policy is 85% rebate and over 3 years, which we've extended to 5 years. But writing a check, we've done it once that I can think of. The city's done it more times, but it's not something that we typically do, and I like to have a policy that we're working off of. Okay. So the $930,000 is based on 3 infrastructure items, and you've guesstimated you've come up with some numbers to say that this is what it's going to cost. If those numbers are $850,000 at the end of the day, when you get the 3 things done, we will have prepaid you the total amount, and you will have actually spent less money. Is that correct? Is this a not to exceed? Is it an actual cost?
We're in the midst
How
of
is-
negotiating that with Richard Cook, excuse me.
It's okay.
My thought is that we would submit pay apps to the county once the work is complete and be reimbursed for the actual cost not to exceed $930,000. So if it were less than $930,000, the county would receive the full benefit of that. Again, we don't want you to pay. We're not asking for anything other than the public infrastructure reimbursement.
Okay, and that's, my next question was how you were going to verify that, and you've just answered that already, so thank you very much.
For what it's worth, the cost, we had a review with the general contractor today, came in excess of that amount, and we're not going to ask. I wouldn't have even brought it up had you not talked about it, but I think it's going to cost a little bit more, which I was a little concerned over. Sometimes it's a little bit of potato where you slice the scope of work, but if anything, it's coming a little bit more expensive.
And since he had asked, Concord did run sewer line to the property line previously, quite a few years ago, and so they've currently are participating in the project by what they've done previously. And there is an opportunity that the city of Concord may be asked to come back in at some point in the future.
Correct.
That's correct, because people, just like he just said, what's the city doing? So,
Yeah, they put utilities, the sewer infrastructure from Rocky River up through the center of the site between buildings E and D, and we essentially have to complete the first phase, buildings C and D, to honor our commitment to them. So we got to do that before we ask for anything else. And we talked with Brian Hyatt about that, and he was very cordial but very firm in reminding us of that.
and that's good, he should be. Both of those, cordial and firm. And then I know that what you've said already is that the company's plan is that you will own and manage this business park. If you were to sell one of the buildings, other than B, but one of the 4 that you already plan and own building, if you sell the building, would it be your intention to, because we would not then incentivize a building for somebody that purchases it from you. So can you explain how, I'm not a commercial developer, but could you explain, would that be beneficial to someone? How would your company, I don't know that I want to use incentivize, but I don't know what other term to use, but how would us helping you at this point help you to help somebody that comes in? Does that make sense?
I think Project Hunley is a great example of that. So they're looking at Site A. They've asked us from everything, they've asked for everything, but from just a raw land sale, which I don't think we can do because the land's not raw anymore, all the way up to delivering them a building and leasing it to them. So they're asking for everything. They're a Fortune 50 company. And this infrastructure grant, the fact that we can stand on the site and show them where the road is going to go, we can show them all of our borings, we can show them our permits, our EPA permits, our wetland permits, our grading permits, gives them a high degree of confidence because they are looking at sites all the way up 77 and 85 to Greensboro, and speed of delivery is key to them. So if we're able to lure them because we have a site that's faster to market than any other site, we have pitched another project we did not win for this same company. This is a very similar project. They have a $25 million infrastructure inside their building. So the county would get, and the city would get the benefit of that investment and tax value on that. I'm not sure how personal property works, but I think that's how the county benefits, if that answers your question.
Would it be fair to say that based on this incentive, that you are going to be in a better position to negotiate with the people who would be coming into the building as far as their lease goes, or you would be able to better negotiate with them if somebody wanted to purchase the building? Is it going to benefit somebody else other than just Beacon?
Yes. I mean, it benefits them in time as well as money. Basically, the cost proposal, because of what we've learned with Pepsi Bottling Ventures and with Ashley Furniture, this is an expensive site. You can go and see what we paid for it. We're offering them the cost at site. We're making an incremental fee to develop the site for them, but we're offering them the site at cost. So the quicker delivery time is probably the bigger carrot for them, but yes, getting it at the lowest possible cost is also important, and of course that would translate into a lease rate. Basically, we just apply a yield to the cost to generate, with these sophisticated clients, to generate a lease rate.
Okay. I wanted to, I guess what I'm getting at for the people that are going to watch this on TV and possibly call us is that it's writing a check to your company, but that also helps you when you negotiate with the people who are you're not going to occupy these buildings yourself because you're a developer. So it's going to help the people that are coming into those buildings or ones that would buy the buildings from you so that it makes it so that they can come into Cabarrus County. That's what
correct.
I'm trying to show. So, okay.
That is correct, yes.
And then the last thing that I wanted to point out was the clawback, which you were kind enough to be forthcoming and offer that. It wasn't something we had to beat you over the head with. So, so that I understand it and everybody else does, by December of 2020, which is 5 years from now, we'll go with the round number of $930,000. If the taxes that you have, property taxes you have paid on the buildings alone come in at $700,000, just to say because you don't build one of the buildings, okay, then you will write a check to the county for $230,000 so that you cover this entire amount. Okay.
And I'm shaking my head, yes. I don't know if people can see this or hear this or what, but the answer is yes. We will cover any shortfall between the actual taxes paid over the grant period and the cost of the grant, which is $930,000.
And let's say that you build these 4 buildings and things are great, and you build the 5th building and you still own all of them, and instead of, sorry, I don't have it right in front of me, 58 million?
$53 million.
$53 million. So instead of it being valued at $53 million, it's valued at $65 million, then the county would get this money back even quicker because your investment has been greater, and at this time, you're not asking to come back for something on that one building that isn't in the plan yet.
Yeah, so if you just run the math on what we've done, if we deliver $25 million, and I don't know what the incremental tax assessed value will be, but we guessed $25 million, that's $40-ish a square foot. That's consistent with how these buildings are valued on the tax roll. Depending upon what the assessed value is and when that value is assessed, it might not be assessed until 2017 based upon when the buildings are delivered. I'm not sure how those rules work, but our numbers show the payback well in excess of $930,000. We would only need to make maybe a $10 million incremental investment over the $25 million incremental investment by the end of 2018 to achieve a full payback. Did I say that well?
Yeah, I know what you
I
said.
think we've overcommitted based upon the value we're receiving.
We have a projection in front of us that would have you paying on the first phase 1 about $175,000 a year. And when the phase 2 kicks in, that's about another $196,000. So it looks like I mean, yes, you're going to, obviously you would pay it back. And then from that point forward, obviously that would be taxes to the county. But it'll take it'll take till December of 2020 for us to break even, is what we're looking at least.
Correct. I'm not sure the timeline, but the concept, the math is correct.
Yeah, and I was asking our deputy county manager earlier about when it actually hits based on if it's open September of next year and when you would pay your first tax bill based on the buildings and that kind of stuff. So, because I was trying to make sure that I understood completely how we were getting the money back, because I think that's important. Typically with the, as you know, with the rebate, you pay your taxes in and we rebate 85%. So we still net 15% each of those years. If it was 5 years, we would still net 15% each of those 5 years. With this one, at the end of 5 years, we wouldn't net anything extra. So we would just break even. That would be the idea, unless you had to pay something or whatever. I mean, it could be accelerated, and then that would change all it. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. They said today the stock market was going to dive, and I think it was ending up on a positive. So nobody really knows what's going to happen from one year to the next. So
our hope in any project, in our involvement, my involvement in Cabarrus County dates back to 2007. We want to set reasonable expectations and then exceed those. So I hope I see you on the street in 2020 and we can talk about how great of a success this project was.
And I would concur with you on that in 2020, that everybody will be thrilled to have even more traffic out there at a very busy intersection. But that's okay.
Traffic, like taxes, is the cost of success.
I would agree with you on that. So I would just say that for Patrick going forward, I have heartburn on writing checks. And I would hope that we will have an updated policy soon for this board, and that we have a policy that we're going to have, I guess, to support any actions that this board undertakes. And that's a concern that I have had for a year at least, I would say. So, but I do appreciate you coming. I think your project, I think you are an excellent company. You represent an excellent company. You have a very good reputation. I don't think that I hope that you're not going to have any financial difficulties or anything that's going to make this look like a terrible endeavor in a few years. So I would wish you all the success in the world, that this project does exactly what you want it to do, and that it makes you, becomes a very good representative of your company, and you're happy to bring people by to show them what you've been able to accomplish. Yeah. So I'm very much positive about your company and your project.
Well, I greatly appreciate those kind words and others that the commissioners have said. This is something we didn't enter into lightly. Our reputation, we were started in 1989 by my two partners, and our reputation is something that's built over a long time. We don't intend to sully it in any way, shape, or form, and again, we want to exceed the expectations that we've generated. I've personally generated with each one of you over the course of the last 4 or 5 months as we've been discussing this, so I'm going to work real hard to take care of that end.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Yeah, I appreciate you being here. You know, I certainly look at this kind of, we're making an investment to put in some of this infrastructure where I see that counties surrounding us they're actually buying the property and putting in the water and sewer and building the roads and developing these business parks totally from a governmental standpoint. This gives us an opportunity to accomplish the same end result with participating in a piece of that development. So I think we're very fortunate to have that opportunity to not have to be taking on the full burden ourselves, to try to encourage jobs and tax base in our community. So thank you both very much for being with us.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. And Commissioner Poole, I want to thank you in particular for your questions. We did not bring this proposal to you lightly. The Economic Development Board has been discussing this for several months, and it's always come back to, what's the county going to think? Are they going to be comfortable with this? And that's why we've been in closed session with you talking about this, and this hasn't been a recommendation brought to you lightly. We felt with the assurances that Beacon was making, it was a viable proposal, but I'm glad that you asked your questions in this public forum so that everybody could hear. And this was something that took quite a bit of time to come to, and the attorneys now have the fun in figuring out all the details. Hopefully that it will be a very positive vote in a few minutes, but then the real work begins. So I thank you for your time this evening.
Great, thank you. Okay, commissioners, what would be your pleasure on this matter? I will mention that in conversation with our attorney and county manager, there would be some specific details that would need to be worked out. So whatever action we take, if you choose to approve this, would need to be contingent on those details being worked out. Yes, ma'am, Mr. Bois.
Noticing there wasn't a motion on the agenda item, should you choose to vote in favor of this, would you please authorize the finance director to prepare a budget revision utilizing fund balance appropriation?
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Thank you. Okay, commissioners, what's your pleasure?
I'll make the motion if I knew what she just said.
You could just say it exactly that way. I make a motion, including what Pam just asked.
Okay. I will make a motion that we grant the request for an economic development cash grant in the amount of $930,240 for Beacon Partners to provide the public infrastructure within the River Oaks Corporate Center to include a public roadway, utility extensions, and a traffic signal at the intersection of the new roadway and DeRuyter Road, subject to the agreements through the attorneys, as well as the condition that Ms. Dubois just mentioned.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I hear a second? I'll second that. Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor of approving this motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. And that motion passes 5-0. Thank you. Okay, next item on our agenda is appointments to boards and committees. The first one of those being appointments to the Cabarrus Animal Protection Advisory Board. The board established the Cabarrus County Animal Protection Advisory Board by its action at the regular meeting on August 17th.
Chairman Morris,
Yes, ma'am.
if I may interject, we have another item on new business, Kannapolis City
You are
Schools.
absolutely right. We added, Will Crabtree is looking here distressed as we skip right over him. We do have one item that was in your additions to the agenda. That is a request from Kannapolis City Schools, and we're happy to have Will Crabtree here to talk about that.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to be here this evening. Bringing to you a request to purchase a little over half an acre that would be the main entrance to our new middle school. This has been a prolonged negotiation, so sorry I'm bringing it to you so late in the game. But what we were asking for would be $67,622. $60,500 of that would be actual land purchase. The balance would be for closing cost and realtor fees. Would you have any questions regarding that?
Commissioners, do you have questions for Mr. Crabtree?
If I can point out, the $100,000 that's already available for Kannapolis Middle Schools for land purchases, what he's requesting is the actual authorization of the board to make this purchase for land. It's a requirement under general statute.
Right.
Thank you.
The money has already been approved in the, right. Okay.
I had that planned out in my mind when I came up and forgot it, so.
Well, I threw you off track when I skipped over you on the agenda.
No, that's okay.
Any other questions, commissioners? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, what would be your pleasure on this item, commissioners?
I would like to make a motion that we approve the purchase of .4983 acres for Kannapolis Middle School.
Okay, do I hear a second to that motion?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. Okay, and now we will go back to the Cabarrus County Animal Protection Advisory Board. We do have, the newly established board will have staggered 2- and 3-year terms, and there are 2 vacancies currently on the committee. We have received 3 applications. One of those is from outside the county, so it would require an exception to the residency provision of the appointment policy. And we do have 2 in-county applicants as well, and you've all been provided with the list and the names. So our requested action would be to fill these appointments. Do I hear a motion from the board?
I make a motion to appoint Joseph Plummer and Jacqueline Tucker to the Cabarrus County Animal Protection Advisory Board for a 2-year term ending November 30th, 2017.
Okay, do I hear a second to that motion? Okay, any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. Next item is appointments to the Nursing Home Community Advisory Committee. The term of appointment for Linda Barnhart on the Nursing Home Community Advisory Committee expired on October 31st, 2015, and Ms. Barnhart would like to serve another term. So do I hear a motion in regards to this position?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to reappoint Ms. Linda Barnhart to the Nursing Home Community Advisory Committee for a 3-year term ending October 31st, 2018.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I hear a second?
A second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. Next item is appointments to the Transportation Advisory Board. In order to better represent the citizens of Cabarrus County, the Transportation Advisory Board requests the following amendments to several position names. Former position name aging, and the amended position name Hispanic community, changing human services to human services aging. I think we might have got those switched around. Human services to human services DSS, and supported employment to vocational sheltered workshops. An application to serve on the Transportation Advisory Board has been received from Aurora Swain. Ms. Swain works with the Hispanic community and has built relationships over the past 5 years with hundreds of families across the county. She is eligible for appointment to the Hispanic Community Representative position. An application to serve on the Transportation Advisory Board has been received from Art Whitaker. Mr. Whitaker is the Director of Transportation for the Cabarrus County School System. He is eligible for appointment to the County Schools Representative position. Mr. Whitaker is a resident of Stanley County. An exception to the residency provision of the appointment policy would be needed for him. So do I hear a motion in regards to these 2 positions and the amendments to those position names?
I'll make a motion to approve the requested amendment to the membership position names as they're presented.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And that motion passes. Next, we have a number of reports that have been included.
Don't we need to make a?
Oh, we just changed the positions.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Yeah, so now we would entertain a motion for those 2 appointments.
I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Mr. Art Whitaker to the Transportation Advisory Board as the Hispanic Community Representative for a 3-year term ending June. No, I got it wrong. I'm down one too many. Let me go back up to the Transportation Advisory, and that one would be Mr. Art Whitaker. Well, wait a minute, an application to serve on the Transportation Advisory Board.
And Ms. Swain would be the
I see.
Hispanic, and Mr. Whitaker would be the Cabarrus County Schools.
Yeah, I see it now. Mrs. Swain, Aurora Swain, that she be appointed as the individual to the Transportation Advisory Board, the Hispanic Community Representative for a 3-year term ending June 30th, 2018.
Okay, do I hear a second to that motion? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes, and now I would entertain a motion for the Cabarrus County School position.
I would make a motion that Art Whitaker become the representative from the Cabarrus County School System on the Transportation Advisory Board.
And do you include in that an exception to the residency requirement?
Yes, I would,
Okay.
yes.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. Okay, next we have a number of reports that are attached to the agenda this month, and I will mention one thing that I forgot at the beginning of the meeting. We do have a change in the schedule for our work session in November, and it will be held on December 1st, which is a Tuesday. This was an adjustment that was made to avoid our regular meeting coinciding with Christmas holidays. So December 1st will be the date of our next work session. Next item on the agenda are general comments by board members. So if anybody has anything they would like to report, we'll turn, yes, ma'am.
And our regular session will be the second Monday of December, not the third Monday that we're normally here. And we'll make sure our visitors that are always here with us come the second Monday of December.
Right.
That was the other shift.
to
We'll make sure you
avoid
guys don't show up
Christmas
the next
week.
week because we won't be here to join you.
Okay, any general comments by board members? If not, we do have need of a closed session tonight, and so we will go into closed session pending litigation and personnel matters, and so I would entertain a motion to go into closed session as authorized.
And legal.
And legal. So we've got pending litigation, legal, and personnel. So we would entertain a motion to go into closed session as authorized by North Carolina General Statutes 143-318.11A, 3, 4, and 6.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes, so we will adjourn to closed session. Wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving holiday, and we'll see you back on December 1st.